there's a lot going on right now that's setting the stage for this world that we're in. And we're in this post-PC world, which all of you have probably heard about. And the thing that's really setting the stage for this is, and we've talked a lot about mobile today, is your life being in a device, right? Anywhere you go, whatever your device is, and your media and your information are always there, wherever there is, so that whatever content it is, if you are a big fan of Dane, you can follow him anywhere. You could be watching him in Starbucks or on the train or wherever it is, and that this idea of boundaries really disappears, and work and home and friends, that those separation lines are all gone. And so it really sets up this world where we can be reached, where we can consume anything, anywhere, and where we love to share. And then, of course, we've talked about this all day, too, these themes of startups and ventures, and that now startup companies are becoming bigger than many of the brands that we love. And so we're in this world now where, you know, every brand is now becoming a technology company, you know, and every brand is trying to figure out who should they partner with and what's the power of all of this. And you really can't swing a dead cat now and not hit a startup, right? That's an old famous expression. Maybe it's too old. Is it too old? You can't swing a bicycle? I don't know. You can't swing something and not hit a startup. So there's a lot of startups happening. And we have YouTube investment going on. We have Hulu. We have My Dan Channel. We have all these things going on. And so why do we care about this? Well, we know when content is excited, when people get excited about content, they talk about it. And when content gets talked about, it influences people. And then that's when it starts getting bought. And that's when things get really exciting. And of course, Kevin blew my exciting open slate slide. So I'm going to kick open slate in the tuchus because I thought I was going to be the only one to show the slide today. But whatever. You get the idea that this idea of influence and using a clout-based standard for people to understand, you know, what is the influence of all of these great artists out there, and why should I, as a brand, as an agency, recommend doing a purchase and a spend in this environment. So I think these guys are fascinating, just even as a trend, because they're using that clout mentality. So instantly my brain understands, what does this all mean? And by the way, my clout score went up a point today, and that is one of the most exciting things that has happened to me all week. Woo! Okay, so, and I didn't even play any of the Twitter games that you play. Okay, so getting into the space, there are a couple of different types of influencers in this space. We have a movement or a trend, and I'm going to show you examples of that. We have celebrities becoming influencers. They were already famous, and now they're influencing other areas of life. And then you have influencers becoming celebrity, like our fabulous Dane, and we're going to get into each one of them. I just want to show you a few examples. So the first one is of movement becoming an influencer. And not to be a doggy downer on this about Trayvon Martin, but I wanted to show you this case study. This is something that my colleagues at McCann actually did, and it was very organic, the way that this happened. But one of our social media guys was very impacted by what happened with Trayvon and got online with some of his McCann colleagues and just put together a video. And it literally went on fire and launched a movement. So let me show you this video, again, not from a political perspective, but look at what happened when he got online, just a regular guy who was impassioned about the world that we're in. And
Sanford Police Department, lines being recorded to Sean.
Hey, there's a real suspicious guy. He's got a dark hoodie, like a gray hoodie, and he's a black male.
Are you following him?
Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. Let's try that again. Maybe actually, if you guys forgive me, I'm going to play this inside of the thing. Okay.
Sanford Police Department, lines being recorded to
Okay, we're having a little technology challenge here. Let's see if it lets me play
Sanford
it.
Police Department, lines being recorded to Sean.
Hey, there's a real suspicious guy. He's got a dark hoodie, like a gray hoodie, and he's a black male.
Are you following him?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't need you to do that.
Okay.
Oh, man, the good part keeps cutting out. All right, well, I'll act it out for you. No, only kidding. What happens here is that what...
using the hashtag million...
Here, let me just take it right to you. If you could see what this guy did.
To help Trayvon's parents acquire 1 million signatures on their change.org petition page, we want to mobilize 1 million hoodies, online and offline, in New York and nationwide.
So if you're in New York, wherever you are in the world, wear your hoodie, wear it to work, wear it to school, whatever you're doing on Wednesday, the 21st, wear a hoodie. upload your photo via Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Flickr using the hashtag #MillionHoodies.
So McCann actually gave some resources to this in the art department to help create the poster. And they started to notice a movement being born. Daniel was invited to speak all over the country based on this, but what happened... Here.
As I understand, this young man wasn't bothering anybody.
No.
He wasn't on anybody's property. He was just walking.
James also posting this photo of the team wearing hooded sweatshirts or hoodies on his Twitter feed.
The member will suspend. These words. The member will. These words.
I think all of us have to do some soul searching to figure out how does something like this happen.
And they say that petition, now think about this, is the fastest growing internet petition in the history of the internet.
There's a kid at McCann just putting a video online.
It's called the Million Hoodie March.
It is spilling over into the streets of Philadelphia.
A peaceful march through downtown Los Angeles.
This was inspired by the rally in New York on Wednesday. They say it just took off through social media, specifically Twitter.
The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Navi Pillay, has called for an immediate investigation into the circumstances surrounding the killing of 17-year-old Trayvon Martin. Pillay said she was shocked the gunman, George Zimmerman, was not arrested.
Our son was not committing any crime. No. Our son is your son.
Yeah. You know, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon.
This is not about a black and white thing. No. This is about a right and wrong thing.
So again, I show you that not to work you all into an emotional frenzy, but to just talk about the power of what content, a great story, impassioned people do. And Daniel Murray, who was the social media guy at McCann that did this, is now using it to raise some money and to do some other things. And he's been on the speaking circuit. And dear Lord, he's a millennial, and he was already impossible to manage. So you can just imagine what he's like now. But anyway, that's just an example of a trend taking on its own influence, and you can see how people gather around that. And this is another example of a great movement some colleagues of mine are doing, transforming the world through comedy, basically putting together a global webcast with comedians, both online and offline talent, and taking over a day and basically webcasting stand-up all across America to raise money for different organizations. And so brands are now starting to gather around transforming the world through comedy to be a part of this as a social good example. So it's just another example of a movement or an idea taking on its own light and having its own influence. And then we jump right into the next type of influencer, and this is celebrities becoming influencers. So are you all big fans of Lauren Conrad? Come on. I know you over there, sir. You are a big fan of Lauren Conrad. So Lauren was, of course, an actress on Laguna Beach and The Hills. And while many of her colleagues on those shows have kind of faded away until they find their next drama to be a star of, Lauren Conrad has really built up again, a global audience around herself as an influencer in fashion. And just to give you an example, this is her Pinterest, which again is becoming sort of a living case study of the success of Pinterest, now like the third largest social network, because what they've done is they've translated Pinterest into what her website also is, and it's now driving direct response to retail, so that brands are making a ton of money now off of Lauren Conrad's Pinterest. And if you're not familiar with her, again, she has become like this foremost influencer in this fashion space. And how did she do this? Well, she partnered up with Equal. And you guys may remember Equal from the Lonely Girl 15 series. And what Equal had done is they take celebrities, and now they're actually being a little choosier about who they take on, but they take celebrities and they help manage their content online by creating a consistent, ubiquitous content experience across multiple social networks and really playing up different social networks depending upon what's going on and partnering Lauren with different brands, but really managing it on this really high level, and even having a very sophisticated technology platform underneath this. They call it Umbrella, and Umbrella allows them to see the movement of all the consumers as they engage with Lauren Conrad, the brand. And so they can actually track when they go onto Twitter and add a feed, or when they go onto Facebook, or when they change something somewhere, they can see the movement. And so this is a really intelligent, smart way to, again, monetize and operationalize how people gather around influencers. And again, you can't do this with everyone. Lauren Conrad is selling herself, her viewpoint. She's hit a nerve with a certain demographic, and so that's why brands are starting to gather around her, and that's why she's such a tremendous success in this space. And then, of course, we want to go into, and why we're all here today, is the influencer becoming celebrity. And this is the fabulous Dane, who we're going to bring up in 1 minute. I just want to show you a quick sizzle reel about what the annoying orange has been up to since he was born. How many of you are big fans, or at least have been watching Annoying Orange, or at least your teenagers and your kids have been watching? Okay, this is going to change your life. You're going to go home and lose like the next 3 days just watching Annoying Orange. But let's take a look at the sizzle reel. Fantastic. All right, now before we get to meet Dane, I'm going to draw it out a little longer. I want to bring up Alex, and get this, Angelides. Woo! Angelides. Or I was going to call him Alex Schwartz because Schwartz is easy, it just rolls off the tongue. But Alex Angelides, who is the Chief Revenue Officer of Collective Digital Studios. So again, I want to set the stage for why this is so real and so important. The role of Chief Revenue Officer, again, is all about creating monetization around these properties. So tell us about the CRO role. Alex Schwartz.
Thank you, Lauren. No, the CRO role is one where we're in the Collective Digital Studio. We're aggregating some of the top YouTube stars, which is an amazing platform, as everybody knows here, and creating opportunities for brands to connect with the audiences, the massive audiences of these stars. So my job is to build out a sales force across the country and globally, frankly, and leverage the power of these stars, these content creators, and our channels that we're creating, these vertical channels we're creating to connect brands with this millennial consumer.
Now, when you, because I love when you describe what you're doing, but the role of Chief Revenue Officer, in the past, at least back in the days of the .com explosion, that was always the role of the guy who's brought in after a company made a lot of money and then they were trying to figure out what's our business model, right? It was like after. Now you're actually building out a very sophisticated media sales team because you come from Viacom, and Yahoo, and like really big places. So what drew you to going to CDS?
So I've been trying to connect brands to millennial consumers for my entire career, and you can't help but notice what's going on in kind of the landscape for millennials in terms of the content that they're consuming. And the YouTube platform in particular is a massive, massive platform, and it's a highly engaged audience. And so, I just looked at it as an opportunity with the way CDS is kind of coming to market, which is the top digital influencers, trying to aggregate the top channels, not the most channels, but the top ones that deliver, a scaled, highly engaged audience. I thought it was a really good opportunity to help brands connect with kind of this new type of content and this new type of kind of first content focus for young people.
And I know, so right now CDS has 9 out of the top 50 YouTube channels.
Correct.
And then it's 300 million views a month.
Correct.
Of all those guys.
There's about 40 channels in our array.
In your world. And I know when you and I were talking, you talked to me a lot about where you see things about to really explode or about to really change, because you think a sea change is coming in how brands perceive this world. And
sure. I mean, if you look at the new fronts this year, I think that was a really, really, kind of interesting first step, but a massive first step, I think, for anybody who's in the digital video space and the premium content space. To really kind of plant the flag in the sand and say, look, this is a incredibly compelling, scalable opportunity if you think about cable, back when I was selling cable in the 90s, and God, that makes me really old. But
he looks good, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't
thank
he
you,
look
Lori.
good?
Maybe we can get a cup of coffee
later.
Maybe a drink or something.
This is very public. We're both married, actually. All right, go ahead.
Wow. No, if you look at where cable was, 10, 12 years ago, nobody thought that, cable was ever going to be able to kind of match, broadcast in terms of, the advertising revenue opportunity. And now when you look at the upfront, when the tally is all in, cable is actually eclipsing broadcast dollars. So I think that digital premium video and those platforms that scale it and those content creators that deliver the most compelling content, I think are going to be able to kind of capture a significant, share of ad revenue as advertisers continue to watch the eyeballs, and particularly the millennial eyeball, I think flow to the tablet and the and the other screens. Yeah.
So you guys also just bought MetaCafe. So can you talk a little bit about why you did that? Because I think it seals up kind of the story you're telling.
It does. MetaCafe is the 6th largest premium video site in the world, and so it was an opportunity for us as a company to firmly establish that we were going to be what we call a next generation media company, leverage our core stars on the YouTube platform, and then create opportunities and great premium video content across this massive global platform.
So it's a nice back end to the content front end.
It's a back end. It's a great distribution point.
It's
a tremendous asset for us.
So you have So you have Dane, and we have already established that he's doing tremendously well online on YouTube, and we'll show a clip from that in a second. But then also you have what's going on in Cartoon Network.
Yep.
So can you talk a little bit about how that came to be, or all of a sudden Cartoon Network called you and said, "Hey, we want him"? I mean,
sure. Well, I mean, look, over 1 billion video views is, that's a massive, massive number. And I used to work in the Nickelodeon family, and I look at Annoying Orange and I think, this is the next SpongeBob, on our hands. When you think about 1 billion video views and almost 3 million subscribers. And when you look at the engagement, and Dane will talk a little bit about it when he comes on stage, when you look at the way he communicates with his audience, it was a real unique opportunity. I think Cartoon Network saw that. He really, really targets and serves kind of the young boy demo and the boy tween demo, and it's a really, really kind of hard demo to reach. And so
I have a teenager, so I know how hard they are to reach.
So you get it, right?
Why do they
Exactly.
have to leave wet towels on the floor? That's the only thing I want to understand. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
You're interrupting me.
I'm sorry.
No, that's pretty much it. I think they saw it as a massive opportunity. I think that it's, as you saw a little bit in your earlier comments, and as Dane will talk about, it's a very, very large and growing brand, and it's growing off from the licensing side of things to the linear television side of things to the YouTube channels kind of blowing up, and we're seeing audience go back and forth between Cartoon Network and YouTube, and in the couple of weeks since the show premiered on Cartoon Network, we're seeing 20+% growth on the YouTube channel in terms of video views. So it's pretty interesting, and if you're a brand, you want to kind of capture that conversation and be in that flow.
So then when you look at, okay, I've got online, I've got broadcast, I've got all these platforms now.
Do I look like Zoolander in that picture? I'm sorry about that.
I might have mushed you.
That's really embarrassing.
You're really, now when we look at it, we're scalable then. We're at scale now when we have all these different platforms to
Correct.
hit, right? I think that's the part that whenever I was in conversations at the agencies, whenever I got into any conversations with brands or the media buyers, they would also say, yeah, it's not scale, But now it is scale.
It's real scale, and I think as agencies and as sales organizations and as metrics, audience measurement companies come together and figure out what is that metric that's going to be the one unifying metric. We all know about the CPM. We all know Nielsen is the arbiter of television, where billions of dollars change hands. We know ComScore is kind of the arbiter of digital. But how do we create one metric, particularly with premium digital video, that every media planner and every brand manager can quantify and can look at on an apples-to-apples basis or oranges-to-oranges.
Nice. Basis. And with that, let me show a clip from the web series, and then we'll bring Dane out. And Alex is going to leave for a moment and come back up for Q&A. And we're going to bring Danebo up. Let's take a look.
Hey, baby carrot. Hey, baby carrot. What? I'm really glad you could stick around. Enough! Enough! What? Does baby need a bottle? Just shut up! Shut up already! You've been talking for hours! Yeah, I am getting kind of sleepy.
Looks like you could use some Zoom, huh? Huh? With Zoom, you don't have to count sheep. You can ride them at the speed of sound.
Hey, can it, buddy? It's time for bed.
Just one sip gives you a full night's rest in just 30 seconds. Woohoo!
Yeah? Well, I bet you can't do this.
Zoom can do.
Whoa!
Woohoo! Did you know that Zoom is also an alternative energy source?
Did you know I can do this?
Careful, Zoom is under tremendous pressure.
What? I thought you were aluminum.
Zoom can't hold it any longer.
Hey!
Watch out! This is extreme!
I don't want your backwash. Ugh.
Zoom is feeling drained.
Yuck! This place smells like cough syrup.
It's not cough syrup. It's Zoom!
Are you okay?
Hey, Zoom! I thought you were a can, but you look like a can't.
Zoom is down.
What's the matter? Feeling drained?
Okay, what's going on
Hey,
here?
hey, Bear! Can you do this?
What are you doing?
Hey, look! I'm a motorboat. Make it stop!
What's going on?
Don't anybody shut up! Whoa! I just realized I can do this.
Orange!
Hey, who said that? I didn't say it. Did you say it, Bear? I didn't say anything.
Orange, you gotta slow down,
Slow
bud.
down? No way. I feel great. I'm gonna get so much done. I want to paint the house. Do you want to paint the house, Bear? Let's paint the house. Oh my God! I can't take it anymore. Hey, Carrot, you should eat something. How about some baby back?
Okay. It's okay, little guy. Just don't worry. I'm sure this is gonna wear off any second now.
Baby back ribs. Shut up! Is he finally,
Yeah. Phew. I think it's finally over.
Thank goodness. For a second, I thought I was going to get annoyed to death.
Well.
Hey, baby carrot. Yeah? Bunny rabbit.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Danbo, aka the annoying orange.
Hey.
Did you just say Dane or Danbo?
Danebo. I was afraid to say Bodenheimer. Say it.
Bodenheimer.
See, Schwartz, it just rolls. Okay. All right, so that was fabulous. So when was this episode done?
Oh, year and a half ago?
A year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And how many are you doing? One a week right now on the YouTube channel?
Yep. Pretty much right after it started, came up with this, and it's kind of like a universal YouTube model. You release a video every single week, and Friday kind of became the day. So every Friday we release a new episode.
And all right, so give us a quick summary of how this all started for you. You know, before you were the annoying orange, you were a guy.
I was a guy, yes. I wasn't a talking fruit. So, you want to know where Annoying Orange started from?
Yeah, you were always you were interested in doing YouTube stuff. You know, how did you get started?
Yeah, I mean, it all kind of culminated from, when I was younger, 12 years old, my parents got a camcorder for Christmas. And as soon as I got it, I hijacked it and made it my own. And it made just these short little silly videos with my brother, just to try and make my family laugh. We'd watch, throw the stuff in the VCR and we'd sit around, and it was always like 3 or 4 people, but that was always really fun to me to, try and make those guys laugh. And it was something that I always did, even, through college and everything. And then YouTube came along, and and other video sharing sites. I actually started out on MetaCafe, so it's kind of funny that you guys ended up buying it. But after all those sites started popping up, kind of realized, like, hey, I love doing this, and now there's an audience for that. I tell this story. When I was in college, I made a full-length feature, and showed it at the local theater. I grew up in Fargo, North Dakota, and 211 people showed up at the local theater, basically all of Fargo. And I thought at that moment, like, that was the epitome, like, I could never beat the pinnacle. Yes, I could never beat that number. And then to, start uploading stuff on YouTube, MetaCafe, whatever site it may be, and seeing thousands and thousands and thousands and sometimes millions of views, it's a number you can't really fathom. So, but yeah, from there, it just, I kept making more and more content, and for some reason, I've always had this thing with talking food. I don't know if I was traumatized as a child or what, but I just, that for some reason, I always gravitated towards bringing inanimate things to life and seeing how they would react in our world. So, like I said, I had done a ton of those talking food videos, and then October 9th, 2009, I uploaded the very first Annoying Orange video. And it was just intended to be another one of my one-off talking food videos. But for some reason...
we all have many talking food videos.
Yes, exactly. For some reason, the character just blew up. And, I kept getting people sending me comments, say, make more, and so I made another one, and that one, within, a few weeks, got 1 million views, and kept getting comments, make more, so I made another one. It was by the 4th one that I knew, something was going on, and from there, it's kind of been all Annoying Orange all the time.
That's so great. So when you first got also feedback from people, or people were telling you that they liked you, how did that feel? Because now that you are the true influencer who has now become a celebrity, so you have all these people who are subscribed to your channel and who are potentially following you to Cartoon Network. Do you write back to them? How do you engage with your audience?
In many different ways. I mean, I get tons and tons of emails just in my regular Gmail, and I'll try and respond here and there when I can. It's very hard to keep up with everything, but a great way to do that is through Facebook, Twitter, social media, G+, all of that stuff. In that way, you can reach out to a big, wide audience all at the same time, as everyone here already knows.
So you're going back and forth on all the different platforms every time you post something, and you respond to people.
Yep, and it's all about trying to keep in mind the audience on each platform, because on Facebook, people are driven more by pictures. So for Facebook, we post a funny picture of Orange and the gang or whatever it may be. Whereas Twitter, we stick to more puns. I love corny puns. I don't know why, but
yeah, no, I think I spent the last couple of days watching a lot of your corny puns.
Yes.
Well, why do you think people are connecting so much to Annoying Orange? What is it about him?
I think there's a couple things. It's definitely relatable. At least I think it is. Annoying Orange is kind of based on a few different people that I know in my life. It's relatable in that everybody knows someone out there that's kind of like Orange in that they think their jokes are really funny. They laugh at their own jokes. And they banter all the time. They don't quite get it. They're a little socially inept. And I think one of the mistakes that people make with Orange is they see it and they think, oh, he's kind of a bully, but he's not. He's totally, like I said, socially inept. He thinks everything he says is hilarious, and that's why he laughs at it. And that's kind of where that character.
Yeah, it's kind of got Bugs Bunny, but then it's also sort of a modern day SpongeBob.
Yep, exactly, and that's the other point too. Is that we've all grown up watching cartoons, and so many of the cartoons out there, the cartoon characters out there, are annoying, but they're lovable at the same time. Like Bugs Bunny, Woody Woodpecker, Pepe Le Pew, any of those guys, they have annoying qualities, but they're lovable, and you want to keep watching them. And that is where Annoying Orange, I think,
yeah. And so YouTube sort of became your home. And can you talk a little bit about your relationship to YouTube partners? And are you hanging out with the mystery guitar guy and iJustine? And do you all go to someone's house and just YouTube partner out? Are you all, because you're all showing up, iJustine voices one of your characters. So what's that culture about?
That culture is awesome. It's all about helping each other out, and it always has been. And that's one of the reasons why Annoying Orange really took off, is after a few episodes, I mean, it already was starting to grow, but after a few episodes, iJustine, who has a massive audience, started contacting me and saying, hey, I want to be in an episode. I'm a fan. I had never met her before. And I was like, yeah, of course. So I put her in an episode, and instantly she tweeted it out, and it just blew up from there. It just exponentially just kept growing and growing.
And her character is who Annoying Orange is kind of secretly involved with. Yeah.
Yep. She's a passion fruit, and they kind of have a budding romance.
That's right. Because she's a hot passion fruit.
Yes, she is a very hot passion fruit. So yeah, I mean, we hang out together here and there, and it's funny because all the YouTubers almost are in LA, but we've all gotten so busy now that we don't really see each other anymore, unless we go to video conferences and stuff like that. That's where we all get to see each other.
Like VidCon this
VidCon, yep.
So, you all have kind of grown up together, and you have also kind of exploded together. So, are you calling each other for advice? You know, how do I do this? What should I do? Or or are you all really kind of tackling different worlds?
Sure, it's a bit of both. I mean, but we collaborate all the time and send each other notes and ask each other, like, hey. Even like on social media stuff, like, hey, what should I do on Facebook to try and grow my page, or things like that, come up with new ideas. And it's all, like I said, it's very communal, it's all working together.
And then in terms of YouTube, were you dealing a lot with leadership there in the beginning, when you first launched? I mean, did you speak to YouTube directly? Did they contact you before maybe you got involved with CDS? Were you, directly engaged with them, or did they really leave you alone?
Here and there. I mean, if you become one of their top partners, they give you basically a contact point, a person that is kind of dedicated to you, and that person each has a bunch of different partners that they work with. But if you have questions, you talk to them. And pretty much that was the extent of it. I mean, I talked to them at conferences and things like that, but.
Yeah, that they weren't like in your face. They really let you.
No, it's totally in the background. Yeah.
And then all right, so now we know that you have this great audience, and you have people that are calling you and writing you. And I know that you wanted to share. You had gotten a great letter from somebody, from a fan.
Oh yeah. It's a little bit of a bummer, but it's something that really inspires me.
The next thing I want to talk about again is how. You're engaging with brands, but I think the reason that is relevant and why brands want to engage with you is because of a letter like this. It's because of really the power that your character and your work have over people.
Yeah. So I get very, very busy, and I get, it's easy to get really busy and really caught up with things and get frustrated by just all the hectic things that happen in your life. But every once in a while, get an email like this one that just blows me out of the water and really makes me realize. So I got this email. It says, "Dear Dane Bow, my name is Yvonne. I wanted to thank you on behalf of my parents, brother, and I for creating Annoying Orange. My nephew, Parker, was 10 years old when he was diagnosed with a very rare and malignant cancer last year. He went through the most aggressive chemotherapy to try and overcome this deadly disease. During his toughest times, the absolute and only thing that made him smile and laugh were all the annoying oranges. He could mimic them perfectly and knew all the words by heart. He made all the nurses and doctors smile, and even during the times when he could no longer use his arms or speak, he would bob his head and try to move his arms to the song Party Rock, which we spoofed with Annoying Orange. Words cannot express what your videos did to our Parker. He lost his battle with cancer today, 14 months after his diagnosis, but through your videos, you made his final days that much easier."
Oh, God. That is, let's have a,
I know
it's weird, but that's
get a little
so
teary.
Powerful stuff,
Thank you.
It's just amazing. So again, I'm an advertiser, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, you're really having impact on your audience. So how are you working with brands? Are you engaging with them and partnering with them? Like, how does that engagement happen?
Sometimes it happens organically, they'll contact us, and other times it's, collective, reaching out to brands to try and, see what we can come up with. It's just trying to come up with ideas that still feel organic to the brand itself. And
the Annoying Orange brand.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Because you obviously want to protect your brand as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what people are buying is your brand.
Right, exactly. You want to keep it organic and make it feel fun and not like an advertisement, because the last thing you want is to bang people over the head with this message of, here's my product, buy it, buy it, buy it. You have to realize that, with, especially YouTube and things like that, there's a set audience, they expect something, and if you deviate too far from that and then start throwing advertisement on in the videos that they expect a certain thing on, they're going to get angry and you're going to see backlash.
Yeah, I mean, if I was a brand, I would come to you just to learn more about millennials, because you obviously are hearing from them daily. Mm-hmm. So you probably really understand what turns them on and turns them off.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to think so. We've done a few campaigns that have been really successful. One of the ones that we did was with Wonderful Pistachios. And that was a very light integration. Basically, at the very beginning of an episode, a Wonderful Pistachios bag gets set down on the counter, and then Orange makes a comment, lifts the bag away, and it reveals five pistachios with mustaches, and they call themselves mustachios, and they're wearing the mustaches because they're trying to hide. They don't want to get eaten. So But that was the only time in the video that you see the Wonderful Pistachios logo or anything like that until the very end credits, where you say, you see a thank you from Wonderful Pistachios, go buy their stuff, whatever. That's a little bit more organic because it plays to the brand, and also it's at the end credits. You're kind of you can go anywhere with that because then you kind of expect it. Oh, it's the final credits. You can say whatever you want. And that one was so much fun that we actually went above and beyond what our requirements were. We loved the characters so much that we started hiding those little mustachio characters in future videos. And then people would see those characters and say, oh, what's that? And they would go click back to the main video and see, the Wonderful Pistachios again. So,
oh, that's great. That's great.
And it was just because it was fun. I mean, like I said, we didn't even do it because we were supposed to. It was just a lot of fun doing it.
Right, and then Wonderful Pistachios gets all this additional lift and halo because of their working with you. So, yeah, I love that stuff. And then, in general, it'll be a partnership between you and a brand to discuss how that integration will happen.
Yes, and I think that's the important thing, is that you have to work with the creator and respect that they will know what the brand, what will work for their brand and their videos. Because I've worked with a few different companies, and I've had a few people throw proposals at me that I'm like, I don't even, because I'll give you an example. So I get an email from this company, and they're like, this is we love what you're doing with Annoying Orange. We really want to advertise with you guys. And I was like, oh, okay. I scroll down, click on the link to figure out what this product was, and for lack of a better term, I'll just say it was a sex toy. Okay? And there's a situation not understanding the brand and where you're advertising. I have a hard time even thinking of fruit with genitalia. I don't even know what the integration would be like. So.
I think that is like it's a, what do you call it, a fringe. Wow, you must get a lot of, I would think you'd get a lot of interesting emails about fruit.
Yep, definitely get a lot of interesting
let's take
emails.
a look at some of the numbers for your show on Cartoon Network. So is this the second, third week? Where are you?
We just released the third episode last night.
So you were 2.6 million viewers tuned in to the series premiere, and you were #1 in the time slot among kids and boys. So that's outstanding. So is the content now on the Cartoon Network very different from the YouTube content?
Yeah, it's the same crew, and I had to fight a little bit to keep that intact. Like like Justine, who plays Passion Fruit, she plays Passion Fruit in the TV show. That core group of characters that you see in the picture there, those are the ones that are also on the TV show. And so it's got the same characters, the same kind of sensibility. It's fun, it's silly, but it's on a much bigger scale. I mean, with the web series, it's harder to have character development, as you see with the clip that we saw just before this. It's you're giving them just little slices. It's witty banter. You're trying to make people laugh very quickly. But here, with the TV show, we can actually develop characters. We can go on grand adventures, and we do in every episode. And the animation is like top notch. If you haven't seen the show, check it out, and you will see like the level of animation has just grown. It's insane.
And is that impacting your YouTube show as well?
Yeah, it actually is. I mean, we see the stuff that's coming out on the TV show, and my web team were like, okay, we got to step it up. So yeah.
And are the storylines and plot lines different then because there's more character development? But I'm assuming that audience is going back and forth and all around on all the different platforms.
Well, that's the hope, and we're seeing that, in the very first few episodes, and that was always the most exciting thing to me. Is okay, you have this web entity, now you have a TV show, and the two, they can push traffic to each other, and that was one of the hardest things to try and to sell to studios when we're going out and pitching The Annoying Orange. I won't name any names, but each one that we went to was like, oh, that's great that you have this web entity, but we want to control it, we want to have it, and do what we want with it.
Right.
And I was very persistent. I was like, no, that can't be how it works. You don't understand. Things are changing so much. This is hugely important. And luckily enough, Cartoon Network was awesome. They were.
So they really respect the artist. So while I want to show a clip from Cartoon Network show, and let's bring Alex back up, so we can talk a little bit more, get some Q&A from you guys. But let's see a clip of this, and then you can maybe talk about this episode.
Hey guys, why are you all scowling at me? Is this a frowny meeting? I'll take 6 cases of oatmeal fudgy bottoms.
This is an intervention, Orange. You need help.
You mean like a butler? Sweet! I'm gonna name him Broderick.
I told you he wouldn't take this seriously. He's just laughing at us, like always.
Whoa, for your information, I have a condition that makes me laugh uncontrollably at my own terrible jokes. Really? What's it called? Giggle chuckleitis.
Oh, that was it. Okay.
Oh, okay.
That was a short
You
clip.
didn't get to the best part. There's a bunch of veggie zombies that come in and attack him. So.
Oh, veggie zombies?
Veggie zombies, yeah.
There is just nothing wrong with adding zombie to anything.
Nope, exactly.
Now,
Zombies are all the
Alex, you actually had a number earlier today about the lift from Cartoon Network to the YouTube show. That you've seen this lift on the YouTube show?
Yeah, we're seeing about 20% growth in video views on YouTube since the show premiered 3 weeks ago. So each week.
So when you guys go now together to meet with a brand or talk to an agency, are you talking about, okay, you can have Cartoon Network, you can have YouTube, you can have Facebook, you can have Twitter, like, are you talking about the whole story?
Well, you know, Cartoon Network has their own sales team that sells the on-air version of the show, although we are having conversations with them about, you know, how to leverage the conversation, you know, across for a brand. But for us, we go out and we talk about, you know, how we can integrate potentially into the YouTube channel, into annoyingorange.com, you know, across some of our other, you know, distribution platforms through his social activation and you know, which is massive, and figure out the best way to, you know, kind of exploit his audience and his relationship with it.
Now, Dane, there's also a whole product line, merchandise.
My mouth is on so many things. That sounds dirty.
That is a tweet right there. My mouth is on so many things. So Nancy from the Collective actually has some of Dane's merchandise. So what I thought we could do is anyone that asks a question gets a limited piece of merchandise from the Annoying Orange.
There
so
you go.
let's get a question.
Wow.
Oh, Bettina. All right.
There we go.
What do we have for Bettina, Nancy?
I have a 9-year-old who loves YouTube. He's the one who's like, "Don't worry, Mom, it's okay. You're late. We're at Starbucks and there's Wi-Fi and I've got my iPod." So, yeah. What movie are you looking forward to this summer?
Ooh, my top movie that I was looking forward to was Prometheus, and now it'd probably be Spider-Man. I love superhero movies. So.
Do I hear some potential Annoying Orange integration?
Oh, we've got an episode called Fruit Vengers coming out very soon. It's actually
next
I think it's 3 weeks away. I think so.
And so Nancy just gave Bettina, I think, a T-shirt or a. Oh, okay.
Nice.
So do you have every single type of Annoying Orange product? I mean, is it costumes and T-shirts and stuffed animals and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff, and they're constantly coming out with more. Basically, it's gotten to the point where they just send me a big document that shows all of the stuff that they're going to be releasing. I can get on the phone call, and then I just kind of give notes like, hey, the mouth looks weird in this shot or in this product or whatever. But yeah, we've got anything you can think of at this point. It's growing exponentially.
And can you buy them on the YouTube channel? Like, where's the?
Not yet, but you will be able to soon, actually. But now you can go to the toys are at toysrus.com. The shirts and posters and a lot of those things are at JCPenney, and you can find them on Amazon too. Hot Topic.
So now so in retail tie-ins too, so you can start to see digital out of home becoming part of this, and this is huge.
So Lori, we have time for about 2 more questions.
I've got a 2-parter back here. One is, love to hear how the Cartoon Network pitch went. What was it like, the elements of it? And then could you end the answer by annoying us with the la 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 la?
I told you we were gonna have to.
Yeah. I got a story for you about that. But for Cartoon Network, it was great, actually. They were the last people that we pitched to, and we sat down at the table, and they looked at the numbers, and they looked, they were going through the document. They looked up at us, and they were like, "We didn't even need to make a pilot. We were gonna take it anyways." So it was actually a really great meeting, and from there we knew. To go back to the na thing, we recently worked with a brand that we integrated this video, and it did there was a part in the video where Orange does that, and the they gave, there's always a give and take. You submit a draft, and then they come back with notes saying, hey, can you change this, move this around, whatever. And they gave us the note that they didn't like Orange's na 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 thing, and that it was too annoying. I was like, it's in the name, Annoying Orange.
Hi, Jonathan Tabb, Scarlet Strategic. First of all, I was impressed or happy when I saw that you were laughing really strongly at the video as you were watching it. You see so many creatives that are like, I'm so done with it, so that's great. Secondly, you talked about, and I'm sure Alex could say that you are the platform to reach that target audience, it's a hard audience to reach directly.
Mm-hmm.
So when you take us back to, you talked about using Twitter and Facebook and talking to your friends, like how to reach the people.
Mm-hmm.
So as a case study, and yes, I know that you are a platform for us to go to for that, but how did you really generate that audience? What are some of, is there anything that stood out that you saw a really big uptick because of something you did to build that audience?
Yeah, there actually is. From the beginning, after I created the Facebook and the Twitter pages and stuff like that, I use that in conjunction with the videos to connect with the audience. It's, at the end of every video, ask the audience a question, get them involved, and then, for an hour after uploading the video, just sit and respond to all the things that the people ask or say, and that makes them feel involved as well. With Facebook and Twitter, I made it a point to make sure to update that just once a day, whether that be a silly pun or a picture or whatever. Just update that once a day and try and do it in a way that engages the audience. And one of the big things that I did from the beginning that really grew the Facebook page was I did a video contest where I made a video and I just said, hey, take any picture of Orange that you can find on the internet and make a funny picture from it and upload it to my Facebook page. And within 24 hours, I got 20,000 pictures uploaded. Actually broke the Facebook picture uploader, and I had to create a whole new email address so people could upload photos, and I think I got another 5,000 submissions on top of that. But it was right after that soon, I'm just getting a million new fans every month, and now it's up to, I think, 10.8 or something million. Amazing. It's crazy. It's a bigger number than I could even. And that's just for Orange.
Right.
Yep. And that's another point too, is for every character that's on the show, they have their own separate Facebook page and Twitter page. And it's fun to play with that too, because we'll have discussions on Twitter with each other. So if you're following all the characters, you kind of get a little fun extra. It's almost like a little mini episode in its own. So.
I didn't realize that. So that's a lot of so you don't sleep.
No. Luckily, I have a couple guys that help me out with the website of things, and they do a lot of the social media side. And I help too, but...
That's great. So we don't have time for any more questions, but yes or no?
Nope.
No more questions, but just anything we could be looking out for outside of Annoying Orange on Cartoon Network and YouTube? Any new projects, an Annoying Orange movie, or?
Oh man, I'd love that. That was actually what I wanted to do in the beginning, was make a movie, and then the collective was like, let's do a TV show first, and then move up to a movie. So, and I'm glad we did it that way, actually. So, hopefully, yes, maybe someday there will be a movie.
And will you ever venture and do other things outside of Annoying Orange?
Yes, I would love to. Annoying Orange takes up 100% of my time right now, so I think until things kind of plateau and I can, devote time to other things, yes, that is.
So can we hear a little bit?
No.
All right, maybe if you stick around for a drink, we'll get one out.
Okay.
All right, great. Let me have a big hand for Dambo and for Alex. And,
you said Dambo again.
Oh, man. Dambo.